Hey guys, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore day number 3 as we are getting close to the conclusion here of Group C. We now find out who unfortunately is eliminated first in Group C, but who also advances on to play against Bomber for that last spot in the round of 8. It's going to be Scarlett versus Dream, and we've already seen Scarlett play some interesting ZVT today.
Yeah, we talked to her after the match and she was disappointed to say the least with both of their plays. She said it was just a comedy of errors kind of games, and she's definitely capable of much better. And like everyone's seen her play, we know what she's capable of. But on the other hand, Dream, he looked pretty disappointing against Hero, but then Hero just beat Bomber as well. So that may be more a credit to Hero than a discredit to Dream. And Dream is a TVZ specialist, so this could definitely be a hard match for Scarlett. But I can't imagine he's of the same caliber as Bomber. And Bomber really won that game, those games, with trickery more so than straight up play. And Dream is about as white bread Terran as you can get. He's not likely to pull out anything too bizarre.
Yeah, certainly so. So Scarlett should have a good anticipation and understanding of what's going to be hitting her here in this series. Meanwhile, you were saying that the CJ players had quite the insight into Dream before.
I was talking to Orion, the CJ coach, just a bit, and he said, well, he mostly just spent the time hyping up Hero and talking about he was the best on the ladder and how he was going to just destroy everyone here easily. Yeah. But he said that Dream is like one of those players who's absolutely amazing in practice, but then he gets up on a tournament stage and he chokes a little bit. So he's sitting up there in a booth. He's in front of a bunch of people who are all watching League, but he probably doesn't know that. So he could be kind of intimidated. Maybe.
Yeah, certainly could be. Certainly could be. You're right. And just to come back to the person that did advance on, indeed, in the form of Hero, it's oftentimes here at the Intel Extreme Masters that we see the winners or second place finishers of the Korean qualifiers always going pretty far in these tournaments. I mean, if you're going to be able to defeat the likes of the players that actually play in that Korean qualifier, then you're probably going to do well when you actually get here as well. The one kind of letdown in that system will be at Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai, where we saw Myunzik perform amazingly in qualifiers and then all of a sudden bomb out completely when he actually arrived in Shanghai.
I believe he was the recipient of the Artosis curse, though, wasn't he?
Was he?
Didn't Artosis hype him up a lot?
That actually could be true.
That pretty much overweighs anything that
I think I even remember giving Artosis the replays
so
on
it's kind
Skype
of indirectly
afterwards.
your fault.
It could be, because we were like, wow, this is really cool. Here's the replays. He was like, oh, thanks, man, that's so awesome. And then he probably tweeted out about it, and then
that was the end of that.
That was the end of that. Sorry, Myunzik. Sorry about that. All right, well, we now have Scarlett and Dream loading up into game number 1 here. Polar Night will be our map. And you were also saying that, I mean, these maps, that they're a bit odd here, what we're getting in these TVZs.
Just feels like every map that we see played is kind of uncomfortable at best for ZVT.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different situations that can make you uncomfortable ZVT. Like if the 3rd and 4th are too easy, like on Akalon, that's good for Terran. But if the 3rd is too hard, that can be kind of bad for Zerg.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different factors.
All right, game number 1, as we have spawning up to the north position as our red Zerg, representing Team Acer, she is Scarlett. And down to the bottom as our blue Terran, representing MVP, he is Dream. Oh, he's so dreamy. Oh.
Haven't seen too many games from Dream, but every single one I have, especially in TVZ, has been just absolutely generic, run-of-the-mill TVZ.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't think we're going to see anything too weird from him here. No proxies, nothing cheesy going on. And Scarlett not actually scouting early on. She was very, very careful about that against Bomber. Drone scouting on both the 2-player maps very early on. Definitely worried about proxies. Not apparently so here. But I would have pegged Dream as the one who's more likely to do a proxy 2-Rax or a proxy Reaper or something like that. Bomber very diverse in the early mid-game, but in the early game, Dream definitely capable of pulling out any of those normal cheeses. But Scarlett does not seem at all concerned.
Yeah, Dream, as you rightly said, he's normally more just the staple standard of going for those drops and then eventually pushing through the middle of the map. But we've also seen Dream use the ability of even completely going around his normal drop style and going straight for the jugular if he sees the opportunity. So indeed, I would say a very opportunistic player in that regard. But I mean, casters say that. But realistically speaking, if any pro player sees the fact that, you know, there's an opportunity to take through the middle of the map and just push for it, they're going to take it, because pros are pretty good at this game, I think.
Yeah, of course. That kind of thing often more comes down to how good you are at scouting and the awareness and actually just recognizing the opportunity. So when it looks like someone is really good at going for the throat, it's more that they're a very aware, very intelligent player, and they recognize when they can go for the throat. Because like you said, anyone, they see the opportunity to win, they're going to go for it. So it really comes down to when you see that opportunity and how good you are at finding it.
Well, there we have the most standard of standard here from Dream, as he does have that first Reaper on the way to head across and have a little bit of a look around. Scarlett, meanwhile, does not have a gas, so she's going to be going for a little bit of more speedless now to be dealing with this. And, you know, generally the slowlings are going to come out and try and buy time for the Queen to eventually completely zone out those Reapers. Did she lose drones against Bomber when there was a Reaper?
Not a one, but I believe he only opened Reaper once, so didn't have too many opportunities. Actually, opening gasless makes it a little bit easier to hold off the initial Reaper. You get your Queens out just a second or two earlier, your Zerglings a second or two earlier. But she's done pretty much the exact same build all 3 games. She seems to have no desire to take a super early third, so she just forgoes the Speedling, takes the better economy early on, then just drops the double gas and gets up to 4 Queens and just takes a comfortable but later third. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of it, because like on Akalon, we saw Bomber was going straight mech, and he actually ended up 20, 30 supply ahead without anything happening, just because he went for an immediate third, as Terran often does in the current metagame, whereas Scarlett just took her normal, very casual, slow third, and she actually had to build a building there. I don't know if we saw it, but oh wow.
Ooh, ooh.
Oh. She likes to live on the edge with those drones.
Yeah, she really does. Delaying it to the very last second here and sitting around this just to see if, well, I guess on the off chance that it does end up getting cancelled and the Reaper can actually hit that down.
It is right out front, so it's kind of risky to cancel it. Easy to dive in and get the kill there, but she does manage to escape with it.
Now, Queens are out now to try and zone this out, but does save that Reaper. Good timing there for just to get out for Dream. And the third command center is going to go down. So Terran's really favoring this very, very heavy macro style here today.
If he has studied her at all, I really feel like it's very good, because she plays so defensively early on, and without that speed, without the gas, there's absolutely no threat at all, really. And you can even scout that, so it's not like you're just relying on her playing the same way. You scout no gas, you might as well just put that 3rd CC down, because it's the same thing that we saw yesterday with DRG taking advantage of first gasless openings, you know, same principle. If he doesn't have gas, Zerg can't do shit. So you might as well just put down the 3rd CC, take the economy, and run with it.
And this is one good thing about, for the players at least, in terms of scouting out their... That's
actually pretty smart, because the Queens, she's pretty reliant on the Queens to push out and take the third, because her speed is so late. So you get that bunker down, then the Queens don't really have the same power that they normally do to push the Reapers out.
True. So. But as I was saying, I mean, the games here for the Intel Extreme Masters, the group stages at least, they're all played one after another. So every player has the opportunity to watch every other game that happens. They're not played at the same time, basically. So Dream could have quite easily watched the games between Bomber and Scarlett and read into those, but he was supply blocked for a little bit there, which is uncharacteristic at this level. Yeah.
A little bit sloppy. Also, as Todd mentioned, I think towards the end of the last cast, they have played each other in online matches before. I forget exactly what. He was talking about a big game on Red City.
Ace of Team Story Cup.
Yes, it was that. So they have played each other. Dream is a bit aware of Scarlett, at least. And that's something you sometimes, even with a foreigner of Scarlett's caliber, sometimes the Koreans are just unaware, because they're kind of in their little own scene over there. Especially a lower level one like Dream, who doesn't play too many international tournaments. But he has definitely played her before and should know what's going on here.
Reaper jumps in to have a look around. Was always going to end up dying because of the Queens that are already out and about. And didn't really get to see too much. The lair started right after that Reaper ended up dying. So for now, at least, Dream can say that, well, the lair didn't start before that, at least. So I'm okay with that. But 1-1 is on the way for Scarlett. She's just playing her own game. And she's getting the creep going, despite the Hellions already being out in the front.
And she is finally moving out to take that third base just now. And again, such a late third. I don't know, this really feels uncomfortable to me, because the third CC, the third orbital, is already completed for Dream. He already has his second, third barracks and his starport coming up. And I don't know, she gets a little bit of benefit in that she gets more drones, more economy early on. And it does contribute to her amazing creep spread, because she has so many Queens running so early, pushing that out. So there is that to it, but he just doesn't feel worth the economic trade-off.
It's got to be due to the map, right?
Like, no, she's been doing this pretty much every game, really. This exact same opening.
Well, Well,
on here, it does make a little bit more sense. Like you said, the third is so hard to take. But even on Akalon, which has maybe the easiest third in the map pool, she did the same opening. It just seems to be her go-to ZVT.
Well, adding on the Baneling Nest here to couple up with these Zerglings as the Hellions continue to be a little bit annoying. Small move out here of 2 Widow Mines a little bit earlier than I was expecting them to go out. And one of them's already heading over to the 4th location, which isn't going to be going down anytime soon. So that Widow Mine is just going to block for a very, very long time. Get 1 drone kill eventually, and then that's about it.
Scarlett did have 2 Overseers building, so she may have actually seen that little move out, seen the mines coming, and may be able to deal with that without losing that drone. She has to find it first, of course. Back at home, Dream just building up as normal. I really like those early mines moving out and just doing a little bit of zoning. The chance to get a lucky mine shot is almost always worth it early on like that, especially when you're playing as economically as he is.
And the centrifugal hooks on the way for Scarlett. She's not going to be forgetting that anytime soon, with that 2-2 now already started. So quite a lead in terms of those upgrades for Scarlett right now against that double engineering bay. And again, just still pushing that creep very, very aggressively down this right-hand side, interestingly enough, which actually can help her out so much because of the way in which we see the 3rd position for Dream, where he will be launching assaults from. So that's good for Scarlett.
Yeah, she's going to have that entire area covered before, and Dream is set up for a pretty early move out. He actually went 3 barracks and a starport before his double eBay, and that's why his upgrades are so late, as you mentioned. So he's looking to be... Oh, there's actually a drop in the main.
Oh, well, Dream El Clasico, as 1 Widow Mine does catch like 1 or 2 drones, but that's about it. The Marines well positioned, though, there, as we do have Scarlett now being able to push that away. Crowd seems to be happy with that.
And actually, at the same time, he pulls the army out of position, then pushes up and gets set up on the high ground. He's clearing out all that creep she worked so hard to spread. Medevac staying up towards the main, forcing Scarlett to split her army up. This is a pretty uncomfortable position for her. She has mutas coming, but they're going to be a while before there's enough to really hunt down this army.
It's like a really weird timing for the push out there for Dream, but it was spectacular in the sense that it did push back that creep, right? He absolutely wanted to make sure that that wasn't going as strongly as he would expect. And, you know, he does know that the Spire's there. Well, Mutalisk does actually end up dying to that Widow Mine, so it got more than just 1 drone that I was anticipating.
And she has actually missed the medevac that was around the main. It's now swinging into position to drop in the natural while Dream pushes in the 3rd base again. And he's really outmatched here, but Scarlett actually has to pull back to deal with the natural.
Yeah, Dreams are doing very, very well here in game number 1. The Marines once again are positioned very nicely, and that Widow Mine will catch 1 or 2 Zerglings. Still trying to hold off at the 3rd base. These Hellions and everything needs to get picked up all the time, but the Widow Mines linger. Stay there, get a few Zerglings, 1 or 2 Banelings, but Scarlett's holding on.
Yeah, not the best Widow Mine hits there. A little bit random. He did as much as he could, and he was really drawing her back and forth very well, but just didn't end up paying off. Scarlett had the patience. There is a Widow Mine at the natural that's about to get a bunch of drones if he targets it well, though. Oh. 2. That could have been much better. Not the best. He does lose that, but still the medevac staying in the back, but Scarlett will find it and take it out finally.
A little bit scared for Scarlett in terms of the supply counts, with Dream right now sitting at... Ooh, nice pick off. Just get that in the end.
Really nice macro from Dream, but I really feel like this comes back to that late 3rd base from Scarlett. It just doesn't give her the economy to deal with the greedy builds that Bomber and Dream have been doing.
Zerglings and Banelings going to hold once again at this 3rd. But Dream here, a little bit reluctant to push on forwards whilst he does not have Drilling Claws, and 2-2 is also a big, big factor that he needs to have out against the current upgrade standing here for Scarlett.
That 2-2 versus 1-1 is a big, big... Oh, those were huge Widow Mine shots on the Mutaclump and a bunch of Banelings.
Very, very nice. Has a few Banelings left over, but those 3 Widow Mines could actually be a catastrophe here for Scarlett. Really nice splitting there by Dream.
Excellent control, and he had a bigger army anyway. The only thing Scarlett really has going for her is the upgrades, and that's just not looking like enough here.
The 11 Marines on the way at any point in time now as Dream pushes on double fronts, pushing at the left, pushing at the right, making it very, very difficult here for Scarlett to really distribute her army well enough to be able to deal with this. And if the 4th base is forced to be cancelled, which it's not going to be for now, but the Marines coming from the right-hand side as well, coupling up. Also a drop on the right. Dream is in his comfort zone. This is where he loves to play. He's constantly drawing Scarlett back and forth.
He's absolutely everywhere. 3 places at once, at least. He can drop in the natural 2 whenever he wants. He does get cleaned up in the... Actually, he gets cleaned up both places at once, so excellent defense by Scarlett and kind of pulling the supply back towards even.
Yeah. 2 Overlord kills, though. Scarlett's going to be supply blocked for just a little bit here whilst she gets more Overlords out. And as we can see here, Dream still powering on with that macro. Still got all those Marines on the way, as well as those 3 Widow Mines and the Medevacs. But with those kind of drop plays, normally you see Terrans end up, you know, losing a few Medevacs here and there, but he's still got 7 to to his name. He's going to go up to 9 soon, so this keeps this push all the more stronger, giving it such good longevity.
Yeah, everything really going Dream's way this game. He has the 4th CC coming up. Big army. That's just such a scary army here. And Scarlett really doesn't have that many banelings to try and just push through and kill everything off.
This is a tough game for Scarlett in game number 1, as the 4th base has indeed fallen once again. When it's 3-base Zerg versus 3-base Terran, we know the Zerg's going to have a little bit of a harder time as those Banelings are going to move forwards once again. There's a few Widow Mines here. Lots actually do connect with the Zerglings that were running forwards, but also doing a little bit of damage to the Marines. And Dream constantly just splits and splits and splits and never gives up, but Scarlett is holding her own.
She pushes through the initial army, but the reinforcements are going to be enough to keep Dream alive. I think, actually, a lot of Banelings coming through there, and not the best Widow Mine shots, but the Marine split does force her to pull back finally. And this is really, really bad for Scarlett. We got 3-3 on the way, and Hive is nowhere in sight for her.
Yeah, very difficult to continue that pursuit there for Scarlett. And you bring up a very, very good point. While she has evened up the supplies quite significantly and done very well with that, you say there's no Hive, there's no 3-3, and also still lack of 4th. Doesn't have any extra gas geysers to really fuel this army that she needs. Because look how much gas she has, look how many minerals she has. She's very, very lackluster in that regard.
Yeah, this is exactly where the style of Terran that Dream is playing wants to be. He just wants to be trading constantly. It doesn't matter if he loses units as long as he doesn't lose any economy, because once 3-3 hits, he starts outscaling her very, very hard, especially if he can keep her on the back foot, and he has. That 4th base was absolutely necessary for her, and if she doesn't kill him pretty soon, it's just going to get worse and worse for her.
It's a brutal position to be in for Scarlett. The fact that you can just trade minerals, which are the Marines, away for like gas, being the Mutalisks and the Banelings, is a very tough thing to deal with as a Zerg. And, well, hunts down another medevac, and that's actually a big Mutalist flock there.
That is a lot of mutas, and Scarlett has put those mutas to very good use in some games. Obviously the blunder against Bomber on Frost, but we've seen plenty of other games where you're swinging around, good counterattacks, doing a ton of damage with those, and it looks like that is what she's going to go for here. She's going to go try and take out that 4th base, just missing a medevac, unfortunately. But at the same time, Dream is pushing in with a really big, scary army, and 3-3 is about to finish for him.
Yeah, and that's when it gets very, very hairy here for the Zerg. If they're not able to really deal with it before 3-3 hits, those Marines are going to be able to shred up everything in these locations. 3rd base is very, very much under jeopardy, but at the same time, a counterattack here by Scarlett with those Mutalisks trying to do something. The Banelings do end up moving forwards, trying to get those connections, but still, great splits here by Dream. There's Widow Mines that have still been alive, and the Planetary Fortress did not fall. This one fort alone provides good support fire against the Mutalisks if they want to come and engage.
This army is still just refusing to die from Dream, and it really had to. This was kind of her last hope. She's now down to 2 bases, and she didn't even trade the 4th base for the 3rd base, which would still be really bad for Zerg. But as is, just if she kills this army, that's nice. But even that, she's just down 30 supply, down economy, down tech, down upgrades.
Gotta be careful. She actually focused down those 2 Widow Mines very, very nicely here, and she caught this at the perfect time. Everything was loaded up. She got a lot of medevacs for that trade. It was as good as it could have gotten for Scarlett, but she has to retreat out now. Those 3-3 Marines barreling down on these Mutalist location.
They are, and it's looking harder and harder. This is why we're talking about that. 3-3 upgrade kicks in, and Zerg just stops being able to trade. She's slowly losing bases, falling further and further behind in economy, and Dream just kind of going to roll through here. Looks like. One last base up for Scarlett, but it's not even any drones mining at it.
10 Marines on the way at any time now. Even adding on the extra Thor as well for that support fire against the Mutas, and Scarlett looks to go for the counter-attack. She can't engage that directly. She feels she doesn't have enough Lings, enough Banelings to support these Mutalisks in turn. So trying to kill off some of the economy, not doing too badly, but again, Dream with the supply advantage in terms of army. It's 115 to 70 right now.
Yeah, this is kind of just too little too late for Scarlett. This is what the style she plays is aimed to do. She stays on Lara a long time. She gets a lot of mutas going, and it gives her that mobility. But Dream has just been too aggressive and too active to let her do it before he just got unstoppable.
Dream doing well. Dream doing very well. And
more drops just everywhere at once. Another one headed up into the main as she loses the top right base.
This epitomizes Dream's style entirely. This is just what he loves to do, and for me looking in, for the most part, ever since he started these drops, he's looked very, very comfortable in this game, despite, you know, taking a few engagements here and there, losing some medevacs wherever. You know, he's more than comfortable to do those trades, as you mentioned before. And now, with that supply advantage, still powering on.
Yeah, this is just kind of the epitome of the Marine train kind of TVZ. You're willing to trade things. As long as you don't actually take any damage, you're eventually going to hit 3-3, and that's kind of the end goal. And once you get there, life gets pretty fun for the Terrans.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mutalisk going to head over to that 4th base, but again, there's not really a whole lot you can do there. Dream's kind of taken a bit more of a passive angle from this at this point, but establishing a 4th base is always going to keep him in good stead. I mean, he might be running out at his... I think he has run out at his main. He's running out at his natural, so he does need to keep his economy alive.
Yeah, he knows he has secured that 4th base. He knows that he has the economic advantage, and he knows that Hive is still nowhere in sight. So he has no... There's no real pressure on him to do much. He just kind of needs to make sure that mutas don't do a ton of damage. And we actually have Burrow coming from Scarlett here again, so she's looking for some more Miracle Baneling landmines, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough at this point. Because we saw, even that first game against Bomber, he took some really bad Baneling shots and was able to just power through it with the back of his Marine production.
Bailing's trying to help out, but has to run on away once again here does Scarlett. It just feels as if every single turn, every single thing she wants to do keeps getting shut down here by Dream, who then, off the back of it, snipes out a hatchery, does some damage to a mineral line, and yeah, killing off a few Marines here and there, but for
that wasn't even worth it. Losing the Banelings there for the Marines that's a loss for Scarlett.
Yeah. And trying to get Burrow, and this is where Scarlett's going to try and come back into this game. She believes that it's the only way here from this point on.
It really is the only way. She just can't take a straight-up fight, army versus army. She needs to spread him out and get him fragmented as much as possible, and then hope the mobility of the mutas and the Banelings will kick in. But she has almost no economy. She has 1 mining base right now.
Tough position for the Zerg, but Dream has played this game out fantastically. And
we look at the income tab, and Dream actually does not have very much income, not nearly as much as I thought, but he just has the more efficient units. 3/3 Marines against Mutiling Bane. It's pretty tough for the... Oh, getting a Thor there is pretty nice, and she's going to be able to pick off units pretty well as they come up here and try and defend.
Yeah.
She takes out the reactor on the starport.
Very, very
She's
clever.
making as much happen as she can. She's doing all the right things. It just still feels too little too late. She is still down 30 supply, and the upgrades are not going to go away. She's not getting up to Hive this game.
Buying the time, 40 Mutalisks around right now, so they do indeed pack a punch. And interestingly, she's actually got Carapace level 2 just about to finish here. She never thought that she could actually find the room to get up to Hive and get that +3 weapon, so really focusing down on those Carapace upgrades is going to help a little bit, but again, it's 3/3 Marines, man. They don't care about Carapace.
If she had another base, maybe she can spread it out enough, get enough waves of Banelings to actually chip it down. Just like use those mutas to force Dream to all in, and then eventually the Banelings clean up. But
that one scan there just revealed that Burrow Tech and Burrow Banelings is a viable thing here for Scarlett. He saw 2 Burrow Banelings on the ground, so maybe he'll be a little bit more cautious about pushing forwards now, and that's a big thing to factor into this game.
Yeah, he already has been being very cautious. These mutas are really intimidating to Dream. He does not want to move out and leave that base undefended, because that 4th base is all he has left mining.
Yeah.
But they're both playing this very intelligently, really. He's just following the army around with his army, and whenever it goes on the left side of the map, he drops everywhere else. There we see a double drop coming down, hitting both the mining bases of Scarlett.
I've got to give it to Scarlett. She's really keeping herself in this. Losing quite a few Banelings over at that drop positions, and now that base is left completely vulnerable here. The Mutalist should probably end up swinging back and trying to clean that up, but does not want to fly into Thor volleys. They will completely destroy those mutas.
She was kind of making something of this game. She's now lost all of the drones at that 3rd base. The 4th base is still mining to some extent, but Dream has no economy, really. He has very few SCVs on 1 base. I don't know, but he's being so careful about the Baneling landmines, and that was really kind of her last go-to. It looks like she's actually just going to swing around for a base race, and that's the right decision. I don't know. I don't feel like she can take this army on. She just doesn't have enough Banelings.
How many Mutalisks are we up to? 43.
It is a lot of 2/2 mutas.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a bad army.
If she did get some good Baneling connections with this army and got a very efficient trade, then...
She has so few Banelings, though.
Yeah, it's just never enough, especially with the splitting that we've seen from Dream in this game.
And he's constantly scanning for Baneling landmines. He knows he's not going to let that happen.
Yeah, because
that's terrible for her. Losing that last mining base, that was her last hope. She now has to win this engagement. And the Banelings are slowly getting picked off by the Stim Marines.
It's a tough spot to be in. A few Banelings do end up burrowing once again on that left-hand side, but luring Marines into that is going to be very difficult, especially
I think he actually caught it with the scan. Yeah, he killed all of the Banelings there.
And now I think she doesn't have any Banelings left. She's got, okay, 10. Where are they? There's a few still in the middle. Actually, those ones burrowed ages and ages ago, and still not.
He did actually scan those, I believe.
But then didn't catch them? Look at this. He's actually boosting 1 Thor back to defend that base. That was really cool there from Dream.
Yeah, very smart of him. And now getting kind of desperate, just kind of hold positioning over the mineral line, hoping to kill enough workers to make a difference.
And, well, still burrowed banelings everywhere. Actually, there's... now that I look at the vision of Scarlett on the map, there's just overlords all over the place. Nice picking up an orbital command. The Mutalisk still keeping Scarlett in this, but it's still a long stretch. It's still a long haul ahead of her.
Had he not had the additional army in the main, maybe she can make something happen. Just go through and take out literally all of the production really quickly. She has so many mutas. Buildings just die as fast as units.
Yeah, they evaporate. It's...
But the real question is, what is she going to do about this army? How can she ever actually fight it?
Yeah, it's she just needs a ton of banelings. Yeah. Absolutely huge amounts of banelings. I guess that's what she's buying time for. But still, we are just waiting. Oh, doesn't want to stick around there for too long. There's still one Widowmine that does have its charge. A few more there in the middle as well.
So many Widowmines, and she has no real way to deal with it. The problem is she has so... Even if she goes very baneling heavy, she just doesn't have the economy to produce a massive amount of Zerglings. She can't suicide some Lings in to clear out the Widowmines. They are going to hit important units.
And I think I figured out one of the problems in this match is that, yes,
both
Scarlett
mining zero gas right now.
Oh, really? Whoa.
Oh, that could be big.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a chance. She should take that. I don't think it's going to get much better.
If that clump walks past this once again, but it didn't step
she's
right
flirting with it.
Yeah. One of the big problems here is that Scarlett, yes, she's been buying a lot of time, but she hasn't been really trading with her opponent. And now there's 18 Widowmines out on the field, which...
She's getting them some for free, though. She's doing as well as she possibly can here. This is really impressive by her.
Actually, she's up in terms of supply now. Her army supply is bigger, because she just has so many mutas, 52.
This is actually getting to the point where...
Oh my... She knows! Oh, what an explosion! Scarlett in game #1. She can do this now. Wow, how many Marines are left? There's only 26 Marines left.
Her mutas can actually take a fight now, barring absurd Widowmine shots.
Oh my god.
That's incredible.
This game, it looks almost lost for her so many times, but she's bought so much room, so much ability, and even after scan after scan after scan for Dream, actually, let's think about this. There's like one orbital command left. He didn't even have that much energy for scans because the Mutalisk swung around and kept killing off a few orbital commands. This is cool. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm kind of in shock. I can't believe that she's actually making a game. Well, not even making a game of this. I think she's in the lead right now.
Yeah.
She has a fully mining base. Dream has almost no income. And Marines are just not enough to deal with this on their own anymore. He can't afford Thors. Oh, she actually took out all the armories. He has to rebuild it. The Widowmines. But they don't quite finish him off. Now she's just killing everything.
Now she just runs to the corner and they all become a lovely green summery shade once again. And... They can stick up there for quite a long time. Wait, worker supply, 8 to 26. Dream's just got nothing, man. Dream's got nothing.
Anywhere mutas show up, they kill off everything there.
Unless we see Dream get amazing Widowmine detonations right now.
The situation has reversed. Scarlett could only win if she got a great baneling shot, and she did. And now Dream can only win if he gets great Widowmine shots.
All right, well, Scarlett's just going to keep dancing around. She doesn't want to take any chances, especially considering how this game is unfolded in its full. As there are still those 4 banelings. If she just if Dream just has no more economy and has to just go for one last push, these few baneling locations that she has set up are brutal.
She has. And I think she needs to expand again. I think she can just keep running him around pretty much forever with these mutas. Nice catch over there, getting the medevac that was poised to go up the right side of the map whenever she went over to the left.
The army's too
Clearing
big.
that out, yeah.
She has 1 muta for every Marine. I mean, I know they don't trade very well against them, but the fact that
when
she
they're
has
2-2, it's good enough.
Yeah, and the fact that she has 78 Zerglings to be doing a lot as well.
Is that his only armor? Is that the one he rebuilt?
Yes, that's the one he's rebuilt.
So no more Thors.
So for now, we just have still the dance around and killing off a few Marines. Any little bit of damage that she can do.
She's just picking him apart.
Yeah,
she has double his supply now. The game's...
What an amazing recovery. What an amazing recovery.
Absolutely incredible. And she's totally in control of the game. She can make it last as long as she wants, because the moment he goes anywhere, her mutas just wipe out the entire base, and he's all in, and he doesn't have enough army left to all in.
I can't believe it.
This is going to be a slow death, but I think Dream's dead. Well, he is dead.
He's trying to get the armor again, as you rightly pointed out, and he found
can't even afford to make Thors anymore, though. Like, why bother getting it?
Yeah, he found room for 13 Marines, but that's all he's going to be getting for
Marines don't cost any money, though. That's not even that impressive.
That's true. They're like free for now.
Yeah. Dream is finally going back and taking the bottom left base, and he's actually had pretty much defended the entire game. He really should have taken that earlier. just too lazy to clear out the rocks. Scarlett just running through, picking everything off.
Still doesn't want to get connected with any of those Widow Mines, though. Has to run away. There's just Banelings everywhere, man. He can't move across the map. He's actually just being suffocated so badly that Scarlett, she's like 99.9% won this game. We don't normally call games like that early or any.
This isn't really early anymore. It's
No.
just, it seems early because it's kind of dangerous for her to finish it. But I think we're even getting beyond the point of Widow Mine shot saving.
Yeah, it's just becoming completely exacerbated here for Dream. As oh well, that's actually very good Widow Mine connections. But back to the corner with you.
Yeah, back to green.
Back It's the dunce corner. You got hit by Widow Mines, you have to go there and wear a hat and think about what you've done.
Go do your penance for a couple of minutes. Oh, she's actually losing a couple of mutas. Can't get cocky there. The mutas are, no matter what, fragile. Oh, that's... Oh, never mind. There's units there. It's fine.
There's a supply depot. That'll work. Bye-bye. All right, so...
Oh, she borrowed some Banelings there.
Did she?
I think so. There's 3 of them there.
Oh.
That could be fun. That's not a good position, though. You're going to get them strung out as they run from the base.
Yeah. They'll all like file in
yeah.
a long line. Well, a few more Banelings morphing in here. Scarlett's just wanting to max out with a lot of Banelings. Continue to recover her economical position. Maybe taking the gases down to her 5th base would be very, very advantageous here if she wants to make sure she's going to be able to seal the deal at least.
Yep. And just kind of running around. I don't know. This is a really frustrating situation because Scarlett, she hasn't won, but it's really dangerous to attack into Widow Mines. So,
yeah,
understandably, after such a hard-fought game, she just wants to play it safe.
But she's just like finding any angle, right? Like again, I quoted to quote what I said before. Oh, this is a nice drop.
Finding an opening for Dream, taking out that base. Still not a ton of economy for Scarlett, but just almost none at all. And it's gotten to the point where I think Scarlett's actually splitting up her Mutaflock. She has half of it defending and another half down bottom left, going for a kill on that new base.
At least trying to just completely shut down this economy and then try and get the orbital command will also be fantastic for her. As again, once again, shutting down the scans.
I think she can get the orbital.
Huh?
I think she can get the orbital. It's going to be pretty close.
She can just linger around there, it'll be fine.
She can just swing up to the high ground. He can't really cover it.
A few Marines. But just
she is going to let it live. I really feel like she could have gotten that and probably would have been worthwhile. But again, playing it safe.
All right. Whoa,
she does not want to do that. Oh my god.
Okay, wait. 38 Mutalisks still.
This little flock is trapped. No, there's enough room on the bottom for them to run out safely. She's just being kind of sloppy there.
Yes.
But moving into the, I guess that's the 4th base? I don't know. The only current mining base for Dream. Going to take the rest of that out. And kill the armory once more. I think that's the 5th armory that's died this game.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of them going down. The thing is that previously we were saying that Dream had like 18 Widow Mines, and now he's down to like 3. So she's slowly trading away those Widow Mines and making this much, much easier to take that final engagement.
Yeah, she's just picking him apart. It's getting to the point where she could actually just go for a frontal assault and end it pretty easily. But again, being careful. Widow Mines are a scary, scary thing. And actually a Hellbat now, which, I mean,
a lone Hellbat.
That's not really going to help too much, but...
He's clutching at straws. He's got to do something.
Needs something.
That one Hellbat.
This medevac goes down pretty easily.
Ouch.
Trying to finish off that hatchery, but not going to happen. Scarlett, too much map vision for that. Nothing can actually get by her. She has literally complete vision of the entire map.
Yep, she does. All the drops